Tea time with Travis Owen. Oh no.
Wait. There it is. There I am. All right, I'm here now. Um, I am Brad Steele. This is Tea Time with Travis. I find it very ironic that he is such a huge fan of Michigan, the Wolverines, and Michigan's most notable player ever is Tom Brady, and yet you have a last name of Manning.
I do.
That is
I
so
do.
ironic to me. Brady's biggest rival.
Yep.
Anyway, we're here today. Hello, Eli is in the chat. We're here today to talk about our new channel, just briefly, because we're in the middle of the day. We all got stuff we got to do. Hello, Melissa. We're here to briefly talk about our new channel, Idol Recall. Travis, can you tell the story of how this came to be?
Basically I think we were just chatting about old school Idol episodes
Well,
and
Carrie Underwood's the one
Carrie
who sparked
yeah.
up the
True.
conversation.
True. Carrie Underwood. Obviously I love Carrie Underwood, and it kind of just spun from there. We talked about, if you asked me if I was into old Idol episodes, and I said yeah, I was into it. I went and saw the Carrie Underwood finale at a local movie theater. I've been into it since Kelly Clarkson's days, but I fell off kind of around Chris Allen, Adam Lambert. I've seen some stuff here and there, but we
Right.
just kind of met together on a love for American Idol, and then this idea was born. So
Yeah, and
um
I'll tell you, I to be honest with you, I found, and we're gonna always make sure to give credit to this channel because they're the ones that are supplying us with the episodes. But there's a channel here on YouTube called Old Idol USA, and I found this channel months and months and months ago, and they have all of the old episodes on there, and that just like wowed me because, as I've said, American Idol was like my whole personality as a kid and as a teenager. It was like my week centered around when that show was on. Like, my family would gather around, watch every episode. We were so into it. I probably hung on a few more years than you did. I hung on until the kind of the Philip Phillips. I think that was like the last year I may have watched. It was a couple
what
years after.
season was that?
I think it was like either 2 or 3 after the Adam Lambert debacle.
Okay.
So, but I watched. But anyway, so when I found this channel on YouTube, like I had this idea. I was like, man, that would be so much fun to go back and watch that because I mean, American Idol was such a big deal back in like it's still on today and like it's good and that's fine. But we all know, those of us that were watching back then, it was a totally different ball game back then. It was the biggest thing on TV.
Oh my god, they used to get like 35, 40 million viewers or
Like
something.
unheard of numbers.
Yeah.
Like I remember, because honestly, we're starting with season one. I didn't watch season one live. I started at the next year, and I remember watching Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken, and like it was the biggest deal. Like, you know, this was a much simpler time because now, like, people ask you who'd you vote for in the election, and that determines whether they're friends with you or not. Back then, it was like, who did you vote for in the Idol finale? Like, were you root?
Yeah.
So I just like me and my family were all about Idol, and when I found this, hey, King Family Reacts is in the chat. What's up, Dennis? Um, but yeah, we and Julie Nelson says the season with the Davids was very intense in my house. We were very divided. David Cook and David Archuleta, right?
Me too. Whose
Yeah.
side were you on, Brad?
I will say that this is such a lame answer. I liked them both, but I did prefer David Cook a little
Oh,
bit.
when he did that Billy G,
Yeah,
that's one
that
that
was
sticks
what.
in my head
You know
forever,
what? I
forever.
don't know if that season, if I had just kind of figured it out by then, but I called him winning like when they were still in Hollywood. I like in
Yeah.
that round, I was like, he's gonna win because he's just got the look. He's got because they had just missed with Daughtry. Like everybody thought he should have won. He didn't win. He went on to have like this unbelievable career. I was like, they're gonna make it right this time and give the rocker guy the title. But he was great, and so. But anyway, I keep getting off subject because I just, we are millennials and we love talking about old school American Idol, and I found so many people on TikTok who do too. Hopefully they'll tune in, but I found that channel, Old Idol USA, with all the old episodes. And I was like, man, I would love to find somebody who loves old school Idol and go back and just watch all these, because there's so many contestants you've forgotten about that you loved back then. So I tuned into Travis's live stream the other night, about a couple weeks ago. He's talking about Carrie Underwood, and who was like my first major crush. And I commented, and I said something about Carrie, and you just threw in there, you were like, hey, you were like, yeah, I used to stay up and vote for her, and I had a big like watch party at the theater to watch the finale. And I was like, you know what, I just got a feeling that this guy right here was all about Idol like I was. And so then we messaged on Instagram, and I was like, I'm going to throw this idea out to him. And he may be like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But by the end of the night, you already had a logo made. So, I mean...
Hey, I'm in it. I am in it.
Yes, we love our old school Idol.
Do you still do you watch the current?
I really don't. I know, like, every now and then something will pop up in my recommended videos on like YouTube. Where it'll be like, hear this great performance. They got a lot of talent on there. It's just, I mean, you know how it is now. It's like not the same. I mean, and I don't know if that's just because we're older. I don't know if it's just because, but I think we know now that a lot of times, it's just a competition for the sake of the competition, and that's great. But you don't see them going on to have those levels of success. Afterwards.
Well, it's that, and I think it's also the judges panel. Like, I think the judges panel, those original three, Paula, Randy, and Simon, had such good, undeniable chemistry.
Yeah,
and you can't create that. Where I think for so many years they were trying to create chemistry between people, and you can't do that. It's got to be organic.
Yep.
And this like current judge, I don't know, I like them all. I mean, Lionel Richie is like a crazy legend, and I'm a fan of Katy and Luke's music, but I don't know, personalities, I don't gel with that with them as much, but that might just be me.
I think that and I'm going to choose my words wisely here.
All the Katy Perry people are going to storm my channel.
It has nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her. It's back then, if somebody was not good, they just told them they weren't good. And Simon told them they weren't good. But like, I got into some trouble the other week because I watched Susan Boyle on the channel, and Simon, that was still in his like ruthless phase, and he laughed at her, and he was kind of writing her off. That was the story they told, and then she, of course, everybody knows what went on to happen with her. But people in the comments were like, "Oh, you just can't handle Simon Cowell." I'm like, listen, you don't even know. Like, I cut my teeth on Simon Cowell. Like, I grew up watching Simon Cowell roast people on a weekly basis.
Way worse than that.
Yes, I never had a problem with him telling somebody they sang terribly. Like, because if you sang terribly, like, it's a singing competition. If you picked the wrong song or if you hit a bunch of flat notes, it should not be offensive to say that to somebody. There were times, I remember, what was her name? Mandisa. Where he made a comment like, we're gonna have to get a bigger stage because she's so big. Like, that stuff I thought was so over the line. Like, that stuff. But in terms of talking about people's vocals, I never had much of a problem with saying, hey, I thought you were horrible. Like, I thought that was not any good. I didn't have a problem with that. And I think most people would agree. I don't want to just think for other people, but I think most people would agree that it's not going to hurt our feelings if you tell somebody they did a not so good job. Whereas now it's like everybody's just great, and we have to tell everybody they're awesome, and we have to, and maybe we shouldn't go to that level that he did back then, but like we don't have to go overboard to just say everyone's great, because if everyone's great, nobody's great. You're just clumping them all together, and nobody stands out to me.
Right.
So I think people kind of miss the days when it was like, hey, it's not a given that they're just going to come out here and do great. You have to kind of hope that your person that you love does great, but they may not.
I think that's one of the issues I always have, and I do like it. I'm not knocking on it either, but The Voice, I feel like always, never, not at all. They never gave constructive criticism. You know what I mean? They were always complimenting people. I think the harshest one might have been Christina Aguilera, and she's not around anymore. But
sure. Well, Melissa in the chat here has a good point. She said one difference between now and then is that today there's so many different talent shows and competitions.
Oh God, yeah.
Whereas back then there had been a couple, but Idol was like a totally different. And I'm glad. Obviously, we're starting with season 1 because it was the first season, but I think they got extremely lucky with Kelly Clarkson being the first winner they ever had because of the success she went on to achieve just in the first year of her career. I think it set the bar of like, it raised the stakes because it was like whoever's on this show is going to be a star. Like,
we also got the cinematic masterpiece that is from Justin Kelly.
I was not going to bring it up, but I'm telling you,
I saw that in the movie theaters, by the way.
Oh, gosh.
Paid money to see that in the theater. It was me and my high school girlfriend, and it was just the two of us.
Would you believe I've never seen it? I've never seen it, but I do remember. I should do a reaction. I should do a reaction to that.
Yes, you should.
But I do remember. I know we joke about it now, but at that time when that movie was coming out, it was like she's a movie star. She's got a #1 song. She's a movie star. She's got a hit record. It was like she's taken over pop culture. Now the movie ended up being horrible, but we didn't know that then. Like we thought it was going to be great. So I think that raised the stakes. And obviously, I mean, over the years you had you had numerous people that went on to achieve success in different ways. I mean, some people went to Broadway. Some people went to, just had a career in television and whatnot. And then sometimes you have people like Jennifer Hudson who just take over the world, so.
My God.
But we're going to, hopefully, if everybody enjoys it, we're not planning on just doing season 1. We want to just go on through. And I will say, we're starting at the last rounds, right? The top, was it 10, 12,
10,
11?
10, I think, yeah.
I think
somewhere around there. It changes every year.
Whenever they go to the big stage, that's when we're starting with each season. And so, because it'll take forever if we're doing all of the other episodes. So we're starting with that every season, and it'll be a nice trip down memory lane. And what I've been saying on my channel, if you watched back then, like we did, this will be a nice trip down memory lane. If you did not watch back then, that'll be even better, because it'll be your first time ever watching. And if you just don't care about watching, you can just come hang out with us.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. You can just hang out with us and we're planning on doing it every Tuesday. You know how it is. There may be some weeks where we have to twist things around, but as much as we can, we're planning on every Tuesday. The channel is called Idol Recall, and I put a link to it. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You can go click on that. We've already passed 100 subs, and we've only had this page up for like 24 hours.
Yeah, we haven't even posted anything.
We haven't even posted anything on it, and yet we have over 100 subs, and that's thanks to you guys. So thank you very much for subbing, and be on the lookout. We're going to be hyping it up the rest of this week, and then Tuesday we are going to be doing our first live stream Tuesday night, I believe, and we're going to I think it's top 10 season 1, and that's Kelly Clarkson, and What's his name? Justin Glorini and Tamira Gray.
Oh yeah, Tamira. Who else could we name on there real quick?
I don't know because, like I said, I didn't watch season 1
Oh, there was
live.
a girl named Ryan Starr. I think I liked
Okay,
her
okay.
because her name was Ryan, and I dug that. Like I was like, oh, it's a boy's name for a girl. And back then,
Yep.
I think her name was Ryan Starr. Oh no, I might be making that up.
Somebody in the chat over here said, Travis, I enjoy your reactions, but I have to say this: Go Bucks.
Oh, boo! Go blue!
Debbie says my mom is a massive Scotty McCreery fan. Maybe that was the last season I watched was Scotty McCreery. I remember I did watch him on the show.
I think I did catch some of that one too, but not the whole thing. I was
Oh,
very that I was stumped for that one too, though. It could have been him or
yeah,
Lauren Elena, really.
yeah. Uh, and Melissa said she subbed as soon as the announcement video went up. That's the kind of people I'm talking about. I appreciate that.
Shout out, shout out
Percival.
to Melissa.
Wasn't there? Tammy brings up an interesting point. Wasn't there a second host in the first season? Brian Dunkelman,
Heck yeah,
the Dunks.
the dunks.
We're gonna get to watch him, and I can't wait to watch the evolution of Ryan Seacrest.
Oh
Personally,
my god, the evolution of the highlights,
the frosted tips.
yes.
I mean, come on, I can't wait. But it's gonna be a great time. Think about all the names, even if you didn't watch even if you weren't as devout in your fandom as we were, you know the names: Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson, Daughtry, Jordan Sparks, Adam Lambert, so many others, David Cook and David Archuleta, who we've already talked about. These are songs, I mean, honestly, the impact the show had on culture was unbelievable because you can't turn on the radio without hearing one of these artists still to this day.
For sure.
And hopefully, this is our big hope, everybody. We are hoping that this takes off to a degree that eventually we can start bringing on former contestants for like interviews. Like my 12-year-old self would be freaking out if that happens. So, who am I kidding? My 28-year-old self would be freaking out if we're able to do that because I still like love all these people. So that's what we're hoping. But for that to happen, we need you guys to go sub. We need you to watch. We need you to interact. And obviously, we want to make clear this does not mean we're going to stop putting time into our normal channels. We're still going to be this is just one night a week. So we're still going to be putting in all of the work toward the other channel. And but go subscribe, everybody, to Idol Recall with Brad Steele and Tea Time with Travis every Tuesday. We're going to watch the performances and the results shows. And go Big Blue, according to Travis right here. And the Detroit Lions, who had a pretty good draft.
Yes, sir.
So
Super Bowl champs 2024. I'm calling it.
yeah, that's our. If this Idol thing doesn't work out, we'll just start a football talk channel, and we'll just talk about.
I'm down with that too.
Somebody said Travis's puppy is spying in the background. Tammy had an interesting name she brought up. Taylor Hicks, Soul Patrol.
How do you feel about Taylor? Who did you think should have won that season, Taylor or Catherine McPhee?
Taylor Hicks. I moved here to Alabama when Taylor Hicks was like in the Final Four, and he's from Birmingham down the road. So everybody was rooting for Taylor Hicks. I liked Taylor Hicks. I thought he was very entertaining. I will say that season, I was so upset at that finale because I love Carrie. I love all the, but my favorite vocalist ever on American Idol was Elliot Yamin. He was my favorite.
Oh, right.
And still is. Like, I still think he is just one of the best vocalists they ever had. And he came in just short of the finale. And so I was just mad he wasn't there. But I guess I was rooting for Taylor there. But Catherine McPhee's gone on to have a phenomenal career.
Crazy.
And I think Taylor Hicks was in Vegas, he had a residency there. And the thing is, people think that just because you weren't Kelly Clarkson or Carrie Underwood and you're on the radio constantly, you must have been a bust. But the fact is, like, sometimes it just happens in different ways. Sometimes you are on Broadway. Sometimes you just have a career in TV, and maybe you're not on the radio all the time, but you still have a career because of that show. So
We are still saying their names 15 years later.
exactly, we remember who they are.
Right.
Melissa said she voted for Catherine. Spacey Doodle says, was Taylor Swift on Idol? Not that I know. I don't recall Taylor Swift being on American Idol. Kelly Williams brought up Fantasia. She was Kelly Williams also brought up Kelly Pickler. Remember Kelly Pickler?
Oh my! They were pushing for Kelly Pickler to be the next Carrie so bad, but
and Simon, like, they really tried to like paint the idea that she was just an idiot. Like,
yeah,
they really wanted her to be like the biggest idiot on the history of television.
She played into it too,
right?
though.
Which I can't blame her.
I
can't blame her.
If it's working.
Yeah,
sure.
She's getting votes. But anyway, we're going to talk
what
about.
Year was that?
I think that was Elliot's year. It's ridiculous, and my sisters, my family always watch together, but my sisters still make fun of me because, like, in school, I couldn't remember anything for like tests, but I could tell you who came in 5th on American Idol, like season 3, like off the top of my head, and they still to this day, they're like, the things that you remember when you can't even remember what you had for breakfast is unbelievable. But
for sure.
Anyway, Idol Recall. The link is in it's the pinned comment, and we're just over 100 subs last we checked. So we just want to keep that thing growing, and we'll hopefully post some stuff in the days to come. Just kind of getting ready for Tuesday. We're excited. And if none of you tune in, we're still going to have a great time because we're just going to be going back and watching some old school Idol.
Heck yeah. I can't wait to watch them again.
Yep. And it's going to be early 2000s, so it's going to be cringy and cheesy. It's going to be awesome.
Amazing fashions.
Yes. 20, and it's appropriate because 20 years ago, it was when...
Oh, yeah.
Which
when
is...
Kelly the summer... Yeah, summer 2002.
Can you believe it?
Sure.
Can you believe 20 years? That is... insanity.
Anyway, that is crazy.
But anyway, thank you guys for dropping into this live stream, and be on the lookout for the channel. We'll be talking about it more in the days to come, and can't wait. Hope you all go sub and tune in. Bye, everybody.
Bye.